and welcome to Creativity TV. On today's show we are joined by the lovely Jo Austin. Hi Jo.
Hi Emma.
So this looks interesting. What have you got to show us today?
It's a box.
It's a box?
It's a box.
It looks like just
a
a box.
Very interesting little box.
Right.
If you open the flap up at the front.
It's not going to jump out at me or something, is
no,
it? Right,
it's
okay.
Not, no, it's not a jumping box. Basically what I've actually created here is a little concertina card holder. And I've made this one. Obviously you can make them any size you want, but this one I've actually made.
Oh,
so it just fits in the little
wonderful.
4x4 cards absolutely perfectly.
So a great place to store your cards.
Yes, and it's all sectioned as well.
Yeah.
So I've taken my first piece there, which measures around about 12.5 centimetres tall by 23, and we're just going to fold that in half and just crease it.
Right, okay.
That's going to create this front section of the box and the bit down the bottom. So it's all created in little sections, it's not one whole thing.
Right, okay.
The next section we're going to divide into 3. Now this one measures 29 centimetres and again by that 12.5.
Right.
So all I've done is I've measured my 4x4 card, added a little bit extra on it, and then I've just sectioned it off.
Right,
Obviously,
okay.
The template will be available on the website for a download
Yep,
as well.
Brilliant.
And then what I've done is I've taken a little 1 centimetre section and scored that one. And then I've scored it again at 12.5. And then I've scored it at 11.5 as well.
Right, okay.
Okay. So what we need to do now is fasten those two sections together, and this is going to create the outside section of our box. So I'm going to take the double-sided tape, top off of that little bit there, and this one is going to sit on that little section there. Now the smaller section that you're left over with, that is the front flap. So you can see that's just going to come
okay,
up
brilliant.
and down.
Yep.
And that's going to create the front section of your card. The only other thing that you need to do is to take another A4 piece of card,
Yep.
cut it in half,
Yeah.
and then we're going to just score in 1-inch sections across this length.
Right, okay.
Score this one at line 1.
Yeah.
You then move this edge up to line 3 and score it at line 4. And then move it down to line 3, line 4,
Right,
line
okay.
3, line 4,
Quite-
all the way along.
Quite simple.
Very
Right
simple,
tools, yep,
yeah.
okay.
And again, the scoreboard will give you those really nice sharp creases. What we're going to do now is obviously decide which ones of these we need. And I want the full 1-inch section. So what I'm going to do for mine is just take 1 inch off of the end, and the little bit that's left over, you can see there, it's just slightly shorter. We don't want that little bit. So I'm going to take that little bit off of there as well. And then we're just going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on here. Now what I tend to do with mine is I'll fold it that way, and these are the little bits that are going to stick onto the back part of your box.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of tape on that end there. Repeat that at this side, and these are going to be your side sections, which is going to hold your box all together. So this first section, we're just going to fold it up exactly as it's supposed to be.
Okay.
We're going to take the box, and as I say, the small flap's the front, this is the top, so we need to stick it on this back section. Okay, so the third section down, and we're going to put it just level with the top,
Okay.
and then stick it in place. And then pop that one out of the way. We're going to repeat it with this other little section here. And then what we're going to do is take this front section, so you miss one section, and then this very front section is going to come up, and then again we're just going to stick this in place, edge to edge, just there. You spin it round and do exactly the same thing, just there. So edge to edge again.
And you could make it bigger if you wanted to
You
as
can.
well, couldn't
just
you?
alter the
And you
sizes,
could-
just
right,
measure your
okay.
card. The diagram that I'll give you, obviously on the template,
Yeah.
you can just alter,
Yeah.
obviously to fit the cards that you've got there. So you can see there we've got these little sort of bits here which are not
Yeah.
holding anything in place. So what I've done then, the 2 pieces of card that I've got left over from obviously the offcuts that I've done with the front and back of the card there,
Yeah.
I've just taken some extra little bits and pieces. Now these aren't going to fit right down to the bottom, you see they're considerably shorter.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is put them in so they're up at the top, so you don't actually notice that they don't fit
okay.
perfectly. Okay, so these ones are going to go in double-sided tape to the front of the box. So
Right.
hold it so you've got the front of the box. Just slot it in, and that's going to go up to the top there, and then just close that little pleat on the
I
top.
see. Okay.
So again there, up to the top, and then close your pleat and give it a press. And that's your first section in.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll just repeat it again with your first section after that. Okay, so we've got the 2 sections in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just show you how to get the circles in the middle. So what I tend to do is I'll put it onto my board just there. I would mark roughly halfway across, which is about there. Just do that with a pencil. It doesn't matter if you mark it because it's going to be chopped out. You take your circle punch, and I've just taken, again, it's relevant to the size box that you're using, so you could use a smaller one if it's a smaller box, a larger one if it's a larger box.
Yeah.
I've just taken the 1.5 inch, and I've taken my plastic guard off at the bottom. I'm going to put that roughly halfway across, and then you've got a little mark just at the top there, and I'm just trying to aim that, and then we can go back in with the punch, make sure we're halfway, punch it across, and then you've got your little thumb cut as well.
Oh, okay, great tip.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is pop these last 2 sections in. Okay, so you've got 3 sections that are going to be the same size, and just to give you an idea, these are roughly about 12.5 by 8.5 centimetres, so that's about the size of card that you're going to have left over. Okay, and you'll be able to fit in 3 sections, that's this width. Now the last section, because it's right at the front of the box, it needs to be slightly narrower, otherwise it's going to pull it right down.
Right, okay.
So as you've got your double-sided tape on there, I'm going to put another length of double-sided tape next to it, and then I'm going to trim that original length off. Okay, so again, we can just bring it in just very slightly, smaller than the other one, and this will fit in absolutely perfectly. There we go, so again, we're going to slot it down. There we go. So you've got your little sections in there.
Right, okay.
Okay, now to decorate it up, I'm going to be using the steampunk range. So this is the chronology range.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice sort of steampunky images, but I've gone for the nice sort of purples, a little bit lighter again. So these have just been cut. It's very slightly smaller than the size of the box. So again, no specific size. If you make your box slightly larger,
right,
just, again, just increase the size of your papers. And we're going to put one on the top. One of these is going to go on the front. I don't decorate up the back of the box because obviously you don't see that, but you can if that's what you choose to do.
Okay.
So this one's going to go down onto the front there. And then I've got another little section that's going to go onto the flap. There we go, thank you. So that's going to go on there. And then I've just taken one of the little die cuts, again, just out of the chronology range. Just a scribble, so it's great to put people's birthdays on there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You can pop it inside your box, but what I'm going to do is pop it on the outside. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of tape just along there, and that's going to fit essentially just on the side of my box there.
Because if you just wrote it in pencil, then you could just rub it out, couldn't you?
You can,
and just keep adding your notes,
You can, and then all I'm going to do is just trim it off so it's level.
Right.
With the top there, and the top there, and then that just gives you that nice little topper.
Yep.
So what I've actually done on this one is I've just kept it closed with a little magnet on the front there.
Oh, that's
And I've
good.
used one of the little canvas hearts. So you've got a self-adhesive canvas heart. So stick it onto your box and then just put a little bit of talcum powder on the bottom section so it's not sticky.
Oh, okay, that's a good tip. Okay.
So I'm going to use a magnet on mine, but you can use buttons. If you wanted to use a button which goes fab with this range, put a button on the top, a button on the bottom, and then just tie a piece of raffia or string around.
That's a good idea.
So what I'm going to do is just stick my button just on there, stick it onto there, and then basically you've got your little box.
Brilliant, thank you very much. That's wonderful. Now, if you would like to have a go at doing this, I'm looking for your projects to feature on Creativity TV. So drop me an email at tv@docrafts.com. And for now, thank you for joining us today. Happy crafting.